Right, this is the generator we made in an earlier video. It was pretty complex to make, and I added lots of bits, as you will probably remember. So it's a generator, and as far as I remember from when I worked in construction, generators and big plant vehicles and stuff like that, they usually have like a yellow or orange color, bright color. So I'm going to go for blazing orange, which is a pretty old Citadel color. I don't know if they still do it, but it's pretty similar to some other colors. And with the reds and oranges, usually they don't really cover very well, and there's not enough pigment in them to cover up the undercoat. So we'll see. I mean, to be honest, it's in the wasteland. We want it to look dirty, filthy, rusty, crappy. So we probably won't be giving it a whole bunch of coats. Right, and it actually goes on not too bad. Probably because of the awesome Vallejo matte black that I used. It seems to be going on quite well, actually. So yeah, one coat for this, I reckon. Right, so I'm going to paint this central unit orange, just the box basically. So I finished painting the orange onto the box. I left out the grill on this side, obviously any other attached bits, and the window on that side I left out. I just painted the box basically. I used Tamiya brush number 1, Tamiya modeling brush number 1, item 87028. It's just an old brush that is about 4 mils wide, and it's flat. It's just easy to paint large items with. As you can see, it hasn't covered up the base paint very well, or the undercoat very well, but that's fine because I want it to look weathered and crappy. Yeah. Right, next up, I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint that window. See that window there? I'm not sure why someone would have a window unless it's a digital display, in which case let's paint it light blue, get a bit of colour in there. I've got a habit of painting all mirrors and windscreens and visors and stuff like that light blue. It's very comic book colour to use on glass, but it works. So I'm going to paint the inside of the window, not the frame itself. We want the frame to be like silver or something metallic anyway. Right, so as it is probably some kind of screen or readout thing. Yeah, that's right. I'm just going to give it a bit more paint because that bit we don't need to look weathered. And I'm using, by the way, ice blue, old GW colour. Right, so that's a little bit more filled in. Right, there you go. Another reason I chose orange for the box is we want it to stand out. We want some different colours on the table. We don't want everything to be like brown and stuff like that. Right, now let's go in and do let's do the grill on that side, and while we're at it, we'll do the frame of that thing. I might, what should I do? We got like mithril, runefang steel, which is like mithril silver, and we got lead belcher. What to do? I'm pretty much going to do lead belcher, or probably this colour, on the pipes and all that. But yeah, we want a bit of variety. Let's use the silver. Use the silver on the grill and all that. Grating. Right, where is it? There it is. Right. Don't want to get any inside, but luckily there is no inside. Actually, it's hollow, as in you can see inside. There's no backing to that grill. We are going to weather it up, so don't worry if it's not quite straight. And for this part, I'm using Army Painter brush base coat, which for me that's like really thin. I'd be painting eyeballs with this, not base coating. But then again, I am no Golden Demon nominee, if they even have nominees. I don't even know. Right, that looks alright, doesn't it? I'm going to do the other side. It's going to look a bit rough because, as someone that used to work in construction a little bit, there was a guy on the building site who commented that any kind of bulldozer, pickup truck, dump truck, whatever, generator, cement mixer, all of the plant, basically, that's better, isn't it? All the plant, yeah. He'd never ever seen a piece of plant or a plant machinery that looked new. Every bit of plant, especially on our building site, looked like it had been whacked with sledgehammers. And he said that literally in the factory, it comes out the factory at the other end, and then there's a line of people with sledgehammers just whacking it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's paint these bits. I'm going to go for what is this? Lead belcher. There's not much left in there. Hope there's enough to do this. If not, we'll have to switch to a different colour. Right, let's just do the cogs, whatever they are, pipes, cogs, pipes. Yeah. There's a little bit of detail on some of these, like rivets and stuff. So if you get detail like that, you want to paint across it, kind of overbrush it. Don't get paint in the details, because then you won't have to give it a quick shade if you leave the details still visible. It just saves a bit of time. There we go. I might paint this sticky out bit stopcock a different colour, red or something. Right, doing right, we are doing well. And like I said in a previous video, all the colours that you use, all the colours I use, I put to the side. Don't put them back in with the other paints, because if we screw up or we miss a bit, we can just find the paint that we used quite easily. There we go, look at that, details on that. So overbrush, like kind of like a dry brush, heavy dry brush, and the details stand out. Again, it's going to be weathered, so you don't have to, just make sure that the paint is everywhere, but it doesn't have to be 100% coverage. And wash the brush, do the other side. Probably do, do you reckon that would be made of metal? Probably. Right, let's do lead belcher on the other side. Lead belcher on the other side. For those that are screaming, thin your paints. Yeah, I agree. Although it has to be said that my paintbrush is wet when I scoop the paint out the pot. So I thin the paint like that. And I think thinning paints, although it's a good idea, applies mostly to miniature painting, because fine detail stuff like that, if you've got like big old slabs of MDF with no detail on the face, it's basically made out of a 3D object made out of two-dimensional pieces, then thinning your paints is not really going to make much difference. And also, if the paint is quite thin, it will sink into the details and you'll lose the few details that you have, kind of thing. Right, I'm going to go for the crossbar on the top, and the thing that we added to make it more stable. Not sure if it was unstable because I did something wrong during this construction, but I think it's more to do with the design. There's a big long thing sticking out, and that is only attached by a small piece. Right, now we'll do the long bit up to the top. Might add some more colours to the top, some different colours. Right, get some more of that. Yeah. Right, I'm just going to finish doing this, pause it. Right, so I painted this piece, and I also painted the crossbars, the supports for the wind things. Can't remember words today. I also used the same colour for the buttons, the knobs on the front, and this thing on the top. Yeah, I'll probably go in and paint those different colours on the front, but I wanted them to be metallic around the edges, around the sides. So just the face of these buttons will be different colours probably. Now we've got to paint these things. So I was trying to think of what colour they would be. I thought maybe they'd be metal, but no. I mean, it's a wind generator. You want something very light. And thin, so I might go for that colour again. So rotting flesh, which I used for the sign in the last video. This sign, I'm going to use that for these. I think they'd probably be made out of something. something thin, maybe some kind of starched material or something. Right, I'm going to go in and paint these. There we go. Try not to put fingerprints on the bits I've painted. And right, yeah, it's not too easy when it's moving about. Right, next one. So we do them all one side, do them all the other side. Good thing about MDF absorbing the paint is it kind of dries pretty quick, so I'm not worried too much about touching the bit I've just painted. Let's get some more. Right, I've done all the sails, the propellers, the sails, whatever. And yeah, it still moves, that's great. Yeah, we're going to weather it up anyway, so don't worry about it looking dirty and being able to see through the colour to the under colour. Next, I reckon we're going to do this side. See that screen there? We want to put something in there. I'm going to use a pen. So for eyeballs and very fine details and any writing, like scroll work and stuff like that, I use this is a Gundam marker, real touch marker, and one end is super thin and the other end is fat, but it still has a point. It's like a brush or calligraphy pen. Right, so it's been sitting on its side, so usually I like to just remind the ink to go that way. They should be pretty much stored upright or whatever. Anyway, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to probably do like a chart, you know, like a beep, 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 whatever that's called. It's been a while. If it turns out crap, I'll just paint over it. Right, so why am I using red? Why not? I could use black. I've got black. Yeah, I've got all the colours. Right, here you are. Can you see that? Kind of looks like a graph, some kind of readout. Yeah, just a little detail like that. Next, I'm going to paint these buttons. Going to paint them different colours. Usually the buttons are. Let's do red. Let's use green. We haven't used green yet on anything, so let's use red and green. I'm going to use my thin brush. I consider it thin anyway. Right, red one at the top. Just doing the front of the button, not the sides. The sides are metallic. Right, red. Let's do the next one, orange. Do like traffic lights, red, orange, green. See how that looks. Hope it doesn't look too clowny. Yeah, different colour orange to the box. This is Fire Dragon Bright, kind of orangey. There we go. If it does look too clowny, I'll just go over it. There we go. And then let's do a green. Yeah, this one's nearly dried out as well. It's pretty old though. And this one is Goblin Green from back in the day when Games Workshop did Goblin Green, and all the bases were painted Goblin Green. There you go. Traffic lights. It does look a bit clowny, to be honest. Not sure I like that. And then the final one. What colour should I do that? Should I do that a dark colour? What do you reckon? It's got to be a primary colour. Don't want blue because we use blue already. I could do it dark blue, couldn't I? Like, well, not dark blue, but straight blue. Enchanted blue. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. There you go. All the colours. Look at that. Does look like a clowns generator. Generator of clowns. Excuse me, washing my brush out. Yeah, I think that looks alright. Next is the ground. So I cut that out because I don't like having bases on my terrain. I'm just going to paint it because the mat I usually use is, it's a wasteland mat. It's literally called wasteland. So I'm going to paint paint it the same kind of colour as the mat. So I put my little brush away, take out my bigger brush, which is, it's kind of rocky brown, cracked earth kind of colour. So start with dark brown. Go in and paint as much as I can reach. Doesn't have to be perfect at all, luckily, because I don't do perfect. And so the couple of reasons I cut off most of the base of this one is, like I said, I don't like having my terrain on bases. It looks like terrain, not like diorama. I like my terrain pieces to blend in with the mat. I've got a bit of blue on my finger there. Touched the button, didn't I? Pressed the button. That's still fine. Yeah, I like my terrain to blend seamlessly with the mat instead of having different colour base to the mat. Because even if you paint it like really well, it's never going to look like it's part of the mat. And another reason is because it's very thin. It's like card almost. It might even be card. Is when it's painted, it will warp, and it won't be flat on the table either. The corners will curl up, you know, like a Turkish slipper. You know what I mean? Which ain't no good. Ain't no good for no one. Right. So I've painted up the base. Let's do a little bit more on this side because you can still see the card under that. Do the edges. There we go. Right. Bit of plastic. Next is let's do some weathering. Weather it up. Right, now we're going to do some weathering. Yeah. So I've got here. This is like hobby paint, house paint, whatever, from the DIY shop. and it's pretty much like acrylic emulsion, whatever. And it says here chocolate.ilo, which is chocolate basically. They just call it chocolate. It's just brown. It's a reddy brown. And if you're wondering what that sound is, it's a pachinko ball or a ball bearing. They have a tendency to rust if you put them in a paint pot. So I normally don't put ball bearings in paint pots. However, I only use this for weathering and rusting. So if it rusts, it's going to only make it better. So there you go. And obviously I put the ball bearing in there to help it mix. Right, so we pry off the lid. I got my sponge here, which is a bit of pluck foam or packaging you get in some miniature when you buy miniatures or games or something. Right, and there's paint on the inside of the lid, which is more than enough. Take some off, dab it onto the palette, close this in case I knock it over, put it to the side. We got our cloth, yeah, so we dab most of it off onto the cloth, and then we go in. Let's do the metal bits first. So I'm going to go in and just sponge rusty doodah onto this. I'm probably going to do the whole thing actually, even the box. But let's just concentrate on the metal first. Metal, yeah. So kind of gives rusty effects, you know, spotty, rusty. To the other side. Yeah. And because you're using a sponge, it does the corners. It goes for the corners, as you would imagine. Rust goes for the places that have more surface area, which would be, there we go, do the propeller tops. Propeller tops sounds like a children's TV program or something. Right, done most of the metal work. Let's do the actual box itself, because underneath the orange is metal, and of course that ain't going to stay pristine, is it? Right, like I said, we're going to rust it up, so it doesn't matter if the orange isn't perfectly flat. Right, that looks bloody good actually. Look at that! Wow. Yeah, like I said, this is my favourite rust colour, so I use it on pretty much everything. Pretty much everything. There we go. Right, a bit more of that. And again, dab off excess. We don't want too much. Don't want like big blobs of brown on it. There we go, and then that's it. Go for the edges, because you know, edges are where the rust starts. You know. If you do end up having a big blob, which I just did, sponge off the excess, go in again and trying to blend it in. There you go. So it's a big patch of rust, and it's looking really good actually. Rusted to the F word. Right, there you go. You do end up getting the paint all over your fingers. Yeah, I've often gone to work without remembering that I've got paint all over my fingers, especially like brown paint, and obviously who knows what people think I've been doing. Hi! There you go. I think that'll do, isn't it? Look at that. That is rusted. Let's do a little bit more on that side. That is rusted. Yeah, and the rust is kind of gone up like that, and yeah, great, awesome. Right, this is nearly done. Last thing I want to do, now these buttons have dried, is I'm going to go in. And what do you reckon? So this is again, this is a Gundam marker, fine tip. I'm using the black one. I'm tempted to write on there, but I don't know if I can. So I thought like on, off. I don't know if I can fit it. I don't know if my hands are steady enough, and it might just look like crap. So let's put some graduations on there. So what I usually do for graduations is like 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So north, east, south, west, and then I do the in-between bits. So start with up, down, left, right. Up, down, left, right. And then do north, east, south, west. Then you can pretty much guarantee. I don't know if you can see that at all. No, probably not. So I'm going to do that for, yeah, let's do all of them. So north, south, east, west, and then the bits in the middle, and then do the others. Then it'll look a little bit less clown-esque, clowny. So I've done all of them. You might be able to see that better now. Yeah, anyway. So this is done. I am happy with this. I might actually give these propeller bits another coat. Sorry, you can't see that. Because you can see brush strokes in that. But apart from that, it's done. It looks rusted. It looks great. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. There will be more.